Hello and welcome to today's tutorial. My name is Joseph. So I've been requested today to revisit the Joystick project. I did a while ago for Gamemaker by Miguel Angel. I'm not going to say the rest of it because I'm going to butcher it. I apologize. And he's asked, how do we attach a sprite to the joystick? Now this is super easy. So I'll show you guys. This should be nice and quick. It's just a bit of an extension, so I'm using all the same script as I did before in the previous one, so you can see I've not changed anything. If I run it, you'll see, again, it's the classic Gamemaker. If I click and drag the joystick, the character moves, pretty straightforward. So the question he's asked is basically, how do we replace these draw functions with a sprite? So it should be pretty straightforward, if I close it properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the joystick function, and again, to prove to you guys it's the same one. There's the code there. Again, the same script, so I've not modified anything. And if I go to the draw function, same thing again. So basically what we're trying to target are these two lines of code. Now let's see if I can remember how to zoom this in. No, I can't remember how to do it. There is a way to zoom it in. Anyway, so let's say I wanted to replace that. So our critical information here is actually going to be these two sets here. So this is the outer ring and this is the inner ring. So all I did very quickly in a program called paint.net is create two parts to my joystick. Nice and simple, nothing fancy. So what I'm going to do is go draw sprite. Oh, it's been a while. And I'm going to take X, Y, and this is going to be sprite thumb bottom, because you can see here that's representing this one here to here. Now I'm trying to remember 60 times screen size. I can't remember if that was a important function or not. Oh, and it shows you how long I've been out of this good old Gamemaker stuff. I have put the syntax incorrectly. And we're going to do image index 0, just like that. So to test what I've done, and this is the first time I'm doing it, I had to think about it over the week when I saw his comment. I believe this is the simplest way to achieve it. And obviously you could do a bit more with it. You could set another sprite to animate this like little ball part to show a bit more of a joystick. So there you go. So my first problem is it's not quite big enough. Although it should be okay because I made the other one just as small. So I'm just going to grab my screen size function here. And I'm just going to import it because from memory it's to do with screen scaling. So here we need to use the extension function. I think it's ext. And we read down here to see what our functions are. So we've got scaling, which is what we're looking for. So I'm going to go to the end here. I'm going to go X scale. I think it's underscore scale. Scale. Image. Ooh. Well, we'll do it the plebs way. We'll go by 1. So, because I know image scale represents as 1 in the function, I just can't quite remember that. I'll quickly grab that in a moment. 1, so this is my X and Y scale, so both of them are simultaneously the same. Next should be image... Ah, there it goes. Found them. Image rotation, so this should be image angle. And then image... spelled American. Is it image color? Image blend, image index, image scale. Most likely going to be then color white. I could completely kill the image here, we'll find out in a second. And last is image alpha. So let me quickly just correct this here. I was on the right track. Image. That's the Y vector. Then we go back here. Change that to Y. So, let's see if I completely killed the image. Fingers crossed I haven't. But as you guys would be aware of in this currently Gamemaker tutorials, I tend to do these a bit unscripted and based on your questions. Well, that looks like it's pretty much worked okay, but I will bump up the size. I'll show you that later though. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the same syntax. Now remember, the way Gamemaker works is it draws line by line. So if I put my draw here for my next object, it's going to draw underneath my other object. So what we'll do, I'll paste that down there. And this one here, I'm going to leave everything the same for now because we'll do our image correction in a moment. Just like that. So I'm just copying and pasting the same script, as you guys can see. It's the same draw function. The only thing I've changed is from my sprite bottom to my sprite stick, basically. So let's take a quick look at this. Ooh. And the reason that doesn't work is I didn't add these two values. So these direction values are important. They need to go in their corresponding spots, so X and Y, because this impacts where we see that component. So if they weren't there, that means the sprite's just going to draw X the same as the previous one, but we need it to draw X plus responding direction as we drag. So let's take a quick look. Let's see if that's worked. Look at that. Although, like I said, I've got a bit of a scaling problem, don't I? It doesn't quite sit there. I would almost want it to sit like that. So how do we fix it? We've got two options. One, we can make the image bigger. For example, here, under my image scaling. So we do our bod mass, and I'm going to +1. So now it's a scale of 2, like so. And I'm going to do the same thing to here. So the reason we use our brackets is because we have to make sure our order of operation is correct in our equations. Pretty straightforward stuff. Like so. So now, in theory, it should be 2 times the image size, which I think should fix it. Like I said, this tutorial is a bit older. Look at that. So as you can see, we've now got this. So let's say I wanted this to only sit in this ring here. So the thing we've got to remember is our scaling is important. So if I come back in here, this is the guts of the program. This tells it what to do and how far to move things. So in here, see the 60? This value of 60 running through here is the absolute outer limit, I'm pretty sure. So what I'm going to do to make our lives easier, and I could break it, because like I said, it's been a little bit since I've done this. We'll just call it... actually, yeah, we should follow convention. So temp, joystick, _min, and basically we're going to take joystick max, because in this way we can update things on the fly, which is what we would normally do as a game developer. If you're game developing anything, a big important factor is actually looking at workflow. So if you've got a horrendous workflow with your software, that means your overall production speed will be actually quite slowed down. So you want to always think about how your workflow operates. Okay, so what I'm going to quickly do is any value of 30, I'm going to replace, well, actually first, let me make sure my code doesn't break it. Which it shouldn't, because I think I've used the right syntax. Beautiful. So, now what I'm going to do is take my min values, and anything that says 30, so like here, and then anything with a max value, so like there, like there. So that shouldn't affect the operation at all for the program, because all it's doing is looking at just replacing my 60 and 30 with a value. So that should operate the same. What that does give us the ability to do now is that should give us the distance that it allows it to travel. Oops, and I missed a spot, which means that's why we didn't get the behavior I expected. So this one here is the big important one. This tells it how far it can travel. Because you can see here, these two values then relate back down to my draw function. So let's just try it one more time. This one should behave the way I expect it to. And then what I'm going to do is actually drop. So I'm actually just going to take off 15 points off my 60 there. So 15 is 55, 45, like so. And in theory now, taking that 15 off is about 15 pixels, here I'll say. Which means now it comes in a bit closer. So I just want it a little bit again, a tiny bit closer. So I'm just going to pull off just like that. And now with that, that should give us the ability that it's not going to go too far. There we go. So that looks reasonably okay. So that's how we replace the sprite. Now, for example, if you wanted to, you could draw a square that sits in between these two layers, and as you rotate it. So it depends how fancy you want to get with it. This is only just a quick update to show you guys what to do to basically update and use a sprite instead of a draw function. If you guys have any other questions with any of the other tutorials, please feel free to ask. I am looking at what I can do to slowly start reviving some of this stuff. I know I've left it for a bit. You guys are always amazing. I always appreciate the comments, and I hope you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you later.